There are moments in life when silence speaks louder than any noise, when time feels like it's slipping away and the mirror shows you someone you barely recognize. This was the quiet battle Jane was living through, a woman with a dream she kept postponing. Yet, she pretended everything was fine. Jane had always wanted something simple, a small bakery of her own, a place where the smell of warm bread greeted you like an old friend, a place where people felt at home. But she carried that dream the way some people hold promises, close enough to feel, but never close enough to act upon.
This is Beyond Stories, where every story carries a lesson, and every lesson touches the heart. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that could inspire your next step. Now, let's go deeper into the story.
Every evening she would whisper to herself, "Tomorrow, I'll start tomorrow." And tomorrow always came and left without a single step taken. There is a saying, "A dream without action is like a bird without wings. It cannot fly." Jane had wings, but she kept them folded. One day, her aunt came visiting from another city, a successful restaurant owner, someone who had seen Jane bake since childhood. She said to her, "I will help you. Let us open the bakery. I'll support you." It was the kind of moment people pray for, a blessing that knocks only once. They agreed to meet, to start planning, to make it real. But Jane overslept. She arrived 3 hours late. Her aunt had already left. No shouting, no anger, just one message that night. Success waits for no one, not even family. Jane cried that night, but did nothing. Tears without action changed nothing. Months passed. Another friend offered to partner with her. "You bake, I'll manage." Jane smiled, agreed, but insisted they keep planning, and planning, and planning. 6 months of talks and notebooks, with no oven, no space, no decision. The friend eventually got tired and said, "I'm starting without you." And she did. Within a year, that friend's bakery became well known. People lined up for her bread. Jane congratulated her, but the smile she wore was thin and trembling, because deep in her heart, she knew, that should have been me. Life moved forward. Jane did not. The world does not stop for hesitation. It simply steps around it and continues on. One evening, Jane sat alone on her bed. No sound, just the heavy kind of silence that presses against your chest. Her hands, the same hands that once made bread so soft neighbors would knock just to taste it, were trembling. Not from sickness, not from age, but from regret. She remembered something her grandmother used to say. The cemetery is full of dreams that were never started. And that sentence rested in her chest like a stone. She realized she was not afraid of failure. She was afraid of reaching the end of her life without ever trying. The next morning, she woke up before the sun. She stood at the window and watched the sky soften into dawn. And she came to herself, then said, "No more tomorrow. I start today." She walked from street to street, searching for a space she could afford. Most were far beyond her means. But in the late afternoon, she found a small, neglected shop. The paint was peeling, the windows clouded with dust, the signboard broken. Yet to her, it felt like hope. She cleaned it with her own hands, bought second-hand tools, and started with one simple bread recipe. Her first day, only 3 customers came. The second day, 5. The third day, 2. But she kept going because she finally understood something. Progress is still progress, even when it's slow. Weeks passed, then something began to happen quietly. People started talking. A neighbor told a neighbor. Someone brought a friend. Someone tasted and returned. Soon there were lines, smiles, laughter, warmth. The dream that had been sleeping for years was finally awake because she stopped waiting and started doing. One afternoon, her aunt walked into the bakery. Jane froze, but the aunt simply smiled, placed her hand on Jane's shoulder, and said, "You finally understood. I am proud of you." Sometimes the world is kinder than our fears suggest. Jane learned something priceless, something we must all learn. The future does not belong to the person who dreams. It belongs to the person who begins. A house is built one brick at a time. A journey is walked one step at a time. A destiny is shaped one decision at a time. And your life, your dream, it is like that chicken behind the young man's back. Whether it lives or dies is in your hands. The best time to start is now. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, as long as you are still breathing, your story is not over. This is Beyond Stories. Subscribe for more inspiring stories.